Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special League of Legends broadcast. This is the Fordham University show match between the Rose Hill Gamers United Club and the Lincoln Center Gamers Guild Club. It's going to be a best of one with bragging rights on the line. This is the showdown between the A-side teams. I'm CaptainFlowers here in the casting desk, joined by King Rammus. And King, what kind of action are we looking at today?
Today I think we're going to look at some top quality action. I think I'm really hyped for both games because we're going to see both ends of the spectrum. We're going to get a good game and then we're going to see how it is to play League when you're new, kind of. So I think we're going to see everything today and it's going to be really interesting.
Looking at the bans coming out to begin with, we're going to see Vayne banned away as the first ban over onto this side for Rose Hill. Now, I was actually casting a couple of these players before. I used to cast House Party 5v5 games starring Zhao or Zhu or Zhu or however you pronounce his name. If he watches this in a replay, I'm sure he's cringing at the fact that I still don't know how to pronounce it. But everybody gets one, right? Everybody's allowed to make one big mistake, and I'm going to make mine in the first 10 seconds of the cast, not being able to remember that name. But anyway, the man's known for his Vayne play. He was a Vayne player, and they're going to take that off the board first and foremost as Optic Pancakes locks in the Volibear.
Yeah, actually, that Volibear pick is something that Paul Venus has been playing a lot recently. I mean, a few times in his last 20 games. So I'm not really surprised to see it. It's probably going to go into the jungle, and it's a really strong pick right now. Volibear is a really strong champion.
Now, King Rammus, I know you've got some information on the players, some information on the guys that are actually lining these rosters for the teams that are about to square off today. And clearly the mid laner on the side of Rose Hill is something to be respected because you can see all three of the bans for Lincoln Center being dropped and targeted on him. Talon, Fizz, and LeBlanc all taken off the table. What does this guy bring that these guys are so afraid of? He's clearly an assassin main. But do you have any information on, his record, his stats, why this guy demands 3 bans at once?
Yes, now let me tell you about this. Last season, our friend SW had a 76% win rate, which means he won 76% of his game on Talon over 33 games, which is quite impressive. 76% win rate is not really achievable for most people. Most people will stick around 50. And if we talk about his LeBlanc, this season he's only played 1 game, but last season again he had a 58. And his Fizz is something he's been practicing this season on normal games. So maybe we saw Lincoln, maybe Red Team just saw that it was dangerous. Maybe they saw, oh, he's practicing it, let's just take it away. He's a really strong player.
Lucifer gonna hover the Janna. Coldfire is cold, gonna lock in the Ashe as well. Now Janna's a champion that I see played pretty frequently. A solo queue monster, adept at sticking beside her AD carry, kind of acting like a third arm for that AD carry, doing whatever she can to protect him, making sure no harm comes their way, getting him out of situations that would otherwise be a death sentence. Ashe, however, that is a champion I have not seen in competitive play in more than a hot minute. We'll have to see if Coldfire is cold is able to make that one really shine, because of course he's going to be dealing with some icy problems of his own coming out from Shinzo's Lissandra.
Yeah, Lissandra's just a really good pickup right now. The game is centered around characters that are really bulky, that can take a lot of damage. And what Lissandra does is she can deal a lot of damage, and she can use her ultimate ability on herself. So she is untargetable for a while, which makes her invincible for a few seconds. So in a sense, she's a bit more tanky. And that's a really good pickup right now. You want damage and tankiness in your top laners, and this is probably where she's going to go.
Yahalo gonna lock in the Graves. We'll see Callista picked up by Jada as well. Now, one thing I want you guys, obviously this is an event that's streamed mostly for the Fordham University community. So you guys are going to know these players, your friends, your classmates, your just fellow League of Legends players a lot better than I know them. If you hear me egregiously butchering someone's name and calling them something that it's absolutely not supposed to be read as, please correct me. Please let me know in the Twitch chat, say, hey, you're reading that guy's name 100% wrong. I'll be more than happy to fix it for the rest of the broadcast, but the only way I'll know is if you let me know. So if you hear mispronunciations on names, be sure to throw that one my way. I'll fix it as quickly as possible. But Yahalo gonna lock in the Graves, Jada on the Callista. Kalista plus Braum, of course, allows Kalista to absorb Braum into herself, use that Fate's Call, throw him right back into the fight, and make sure he's able to set that fight off with a nice Glacial Fissure.
Of course, Kalista, she's been coming back a bit. She's an interesting AD carry, and as we see blue team, Rosehill, they banned 2 AD carries, which are ranged marksmen that deal damage over time, which is targeted to our friend Zhao. This is how I'm gonna call him. And if you just ban someone out, like Lidcon Center did, they're forced to go on champions that are not as good on, and that's what happened. Because I haven't seen Zhao on Kalista a lot on his match history, at least.
Well, we'll have to see how it works out for him. Obviously, teams looking to be finalized, and they're going to lock in your namesake, Rammus. Going to be the final pick over onto the team for Lincoln Center. SW, in the meantime, they might have banned away 3 assassins, but sadly, there's not enough bans in League of Legends to take every assassin off the table. Ahri going to be locked in, bringing that burst, bringing that mobility, bringing that snowballing potential here to the mid lane, and we'll have to see how she's able to properly deal with that Lissandra. Meanwhile, topside, it's kind of the clash of the old versus the new. Renekton, for so long, this kind of benchmark in the top lane that every laner had to measure themselves against. Going up against this new age hyper tank meta in Rammus. Of course, Renekton going to be that early lane bully, but Rammus having so much more pressure as the game goes on, being able to roll into all 5 people and tank for days and days and days.
Yeah, actually, if we think about it, Renekton is a character that deals physical damage. So at first he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage to Rammus, but as the game goes on, Rammus loves to build armor, and in the current item patch, armor is really a good buy. So this is why Rammus is so strong. Armor items are just good. And since Renekton deals physical damage, I think Rammus is just going to be able to itemize the way he wants to and have an easy game. And as the game goes on, Rammus's win rate goes up drastically.
And that's one thing that I'm going to offer you the other side of the coin on, is right now if you go to champion.gg and actually look at the highest win rates among junglers, and I couldn't believe this when I discovered it yesterday, Volibear has the highest in Platinum and above solo queue right now for junglers.
Oh, yes.
The champion has started to come into popularity once more because of his insane early game potential. Now, of course, as the game goes on, he falls off. He becomes just a giant meat sponge later on in the game because there's nothing else he's really able to do against a team that's well coordinated and well built against him. If you have a team that's just got those tools built in to keep Volibear away, it's very difficult for him to close the gap and have a meaningful impact in the fight. But in the early game, in the mid game, if he can get a solid start, if he can make sure he gets that ball rolling nice and early, he becomes this massive threat. Impossible to kill, puts down a ton of damage, and just becomes exactly what you're looking for in terms of a front line. And that's kind of what you're looking at in this dynamic between the front line of the teams, is this early game Renekton and Volibear lineup. If these guys get ahead, look to see them just run the game over. We're talking 25-minute victory, 30-minute victory. That's all that they're going to need in order to walk away with the win, because Volibear and Renekton are both so incredibly powerful in that early to mid game that Rosehill can lock it away. But as the game goes on, as more and more time is added to the clock, Holden's Rammus, like you said, is going to become that much more of a threat. As he stacks those defenses, he's just going to become literally unkillable.
Which I guess is a dynamic we're going to see throughout the game a lot. I mean, if you think about it, Kalista does fall off later into the game, and so does Graves at some point, but having 2 marksmen compensate for some damage. However, it's all AD, and as we said, armor items are really easy to buy. So Lissandra, if she falls off, and she doesn't have a good laning phase, is also something interesting, because if it happens, and she has a bad laning phase, it's going to be a really hard task for Lilcon to deal damage, in general, to Rosehill.
Now, one thing I'm looking for as well is here in the bot lane, there's some serious poke potential between Pancakes and Lu, but those guys got to be careful, because if Zhao and Jada are able to actually close distance on them, if they're able to make sure they get past those slowing volleys and those tornadoes, they'll be able to put a lot of pain into Optic Pancakes, who has no escape mechanism other than his flash. If Zada and Zhao get ahead in this bottom lane, expect it to just become this massive snowball that their opponents can't do anything to properly resist. We're 5 seconds away from launching into game number 1. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with this awesome showdown that we've got lined up for you all. Stick with us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Summoner's Rift for the first time of 2 this evening. You're live here at the Fordham University show matches. This is going to be between the Rose Hill in the blue and Lincoln Center in the red A-side teams. Of course, we might not have any awesome, gigantic trophies or any copious amounts of prize money on the line, but who needs stuff like that when you've got the bragging rights of saying you are the superior campus squad? I'm CaptainFlowers here in the casting desk, joined by King Rammus. And Rammus, based on these team compositions, what kind of action do you expect to see going down here in the early game?
What I think it's going to be really slow at the beginning of the game, except focused on that top side, as you said, trying to get Renekton going. I think we're going to see Paul Venus trying to go into the top lane and just try to give the worst time to Holden.
Nobody's really going for anything too aggressive here early on. We're seeing a couple wards here down in the middle of the river. Not even any aggressive ward placement in the opponent's jungle. Both sides just willing to kind of draw that line of scrimmage, watch the entrances, and make sure their opponents aren't up to anything tricky. We won't be seeing any sort of lane swaps or other advanced tactics early on in this game. Just classic League of Legends played the classic way.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to risk those bragging rights at level 1. You don't want to lose those bragging rights at 1 minute 30 into the game. So you just got to play it safe a bit.
Exactly. When there's so many bragging rights on the line, you can't afford to make an early mistake, especially in a best of 1. You got to make sure you're dragging this one out, making it a battle for the ages. And both junglers actually going to be starting on the bottom half of the map here. And that's something we don't always see, because a lot of times the junglers will opt for a top half of the map start, allowing their bot laners to take that early camp, get any XP advantage. But we're not going to see either side do that. Instead, everybody's just going to go to lane, normal, walk in the park, no big deal, don't have to lose any health to those camps, won't get any bonus experience for them, and we just go down to a normal day here in bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what Lincoln Center wants to do. I think they want to wait for that level 6, and you remember how you said that Kalista can just pull her support, which is Braum right now, Xada, and just throw them at the enemy, and that would enable, if they get their level 6 before... Oh, actually, in the top lane.
Top lane, some action going down. Ignite going to be dropped very early. Cold Fire is cold, looking to put down the burn onto Holden 1531. Flashing after him, won't be able to find the kill with that Call the Meek. However, he takes him so incredibly low that Holden's going to have to watch out. He still has some regeneration capabilities on him. He's still got a potion. He's still got the passive on the Doron shield. But with that low of HP, he is now going to be living in Renekton's world until he gets back or gets an opportunity to regenerate at least somewhat. Cold Fire is cold, looking to go right back in. He's able to find that. Thunderlord's able to find the kill. First blood goes the way of Renekton.
That's crazy, first blood. It's so early into the game. You were right. If this keeps on going like this, and I mean, Rammus keeps on dying and over, we might see a problem. We see him teleporting back in. Is this for another kill, or is he gonna play it safer?
We'll have to see what he's able to do. Not exactly the power ball you're looking for. You get into the lane, you start channeling that, you put the fear of God in your opponent, only to realize he's not really that much of a believer as you bonk into the minion wave. Optic Pancakes and Lucifer are going to return some damage onto Jada. as he jumps in, tries to find that Winter's Bite, will not land it successfully onto his intended target, and now they're going to continue trading blow for blow. Optic Pancakes grabbing a couple nice auto attacks onto Zhao, who once again, like I was talking about earlier on in the Champion Select phase, if he's able to get ahead, this is going to be a nasty, nasty time for Optic Pancakes. Picking Ashe into a composition of Kalista with a Braum, with a Rammus, with a Lissandra. There are so many Ashe is dead instantly factors on this team coming out from the Lincoln Center that this AD carry, this Ashe, is going to have to be so incredibly careful or she'll just end up dead. Every single team fight, she's going to be the start of the fight by going down.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to really watch his step this game if he wants to succeed. He's going to have to just say, hey, I'm gonna take this slow, I'm gonna play smart and wait for the good opportunity to show myself and be placed smartly, so they can't just go in on me. He just needs to position himself so they can't go in.
Fight here in the mid lane. Shinzo gonna take some damage, not a whole lot, but Holden's once again not able to hold his own here against Renekton on the top side. Cold Fire is cold, showing he knows how to play this champion, knows how to bully his opponent around, and look at the itemization. Pickaxe coming out first means it's going to be that very powerful 1v1 heavy damage Renekton build. He's not going for some sort of Sunfire Cape into Black Cleaver into very tanky Renekton. It's going to be a Renekton that 100 to zeros you if you walk too close to him. And considering what he's doing to Rammus right now, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about that just before you said it. Oh, but actually, in the mid lane, a big fight's going on.
2v2 gonna go down. SW grabs the charm onto Shinzo. He's gonna be the first casualty of this fight. Paul Venus grabs that one with the bite as Yahalo has to walk himself away. He's not gonna find a whole lot of anything. Dashes back into these guys, and that might be a fatal mistake. There comes the flip. Here comes Cold Fire is gold, and there comes the double kill. SW is gonna pick that one up. 3-0 now in the favor of Rose Hill. Meanwhile, fight here, 2v2 in the bottom half of the map. Jada and Zhao looking to get their team on the board first and foremost. Optic Pancakes looking about like a pincushion. Spear after spear after spear after spear. The Ren will not be able to connect. Zhao's gonna fall. Optic Pancakes, so many spears still inside of him. Looking for the kill onto Jada as well. One more auto attack might be able to take him down. Zephyr into that auto will be blocked by the Unbreakable. Potion still ticking. Jada's gonna live, but not before losing his AD carry.
Oh my god, if that Ren was done, but actually it's not dropping down.
In the top side, before we can even make a comment about it, the Ignite is dropped and Rammus finds himself 6 feet deep once more. Things are looking real bad for Lincoln Center.
Oh boy, what was the saddest? All 3 lanes died one after the other, including the jungle, which is kind of sad, I guess. It started all in the mid lane, and that was the saddest part. Both Shinzo and Yahalo died and still use their flash ability, which lets them quickly blink.
That was a tragedy in the bot lane as well. You could tell that Zhao and Jada thought they were in control in that fight, and then all of a sudden it doesn't exactly go their way. Shinzo in some trouble. Here comes the charm, here comes the auto attack, here comes the follow-up damage, and here comes Paul Venus. He's going to get another one for his team. 2-0-1 now on this Volibear. That's the kind of start we're talking about. Remember in the Champion Select lobby, Rammus, when I said if this Renekton and this Volibear get ahead, this game's going to end in 25 minutes? 2-0-1 on both of these guys, up in CS over their counterparts, now looking for Dragon at 7 minutes into the game. I don't think you could ask for a better start.
That's brutal. That's just savage. What are they supposed to do? That's a 5-man Dragon in 7 minutes. It's unstoppable, and they're probably gonna group bot, try to get 2 lives right now, but they're gonna be spotted by a ward.
Ward's gonna spot him out. Optic Pancakes, no arrow yet available. SW does have Spirit Rush. Rush into Charm might be the play if they walk too close. They're standing exactly on top of a ward, and they just decide to get all the way out of there. They don't even care. These guys aren't worth their time at this point. They've got money. They need to shop and get back to the lanes.
Yeah. I would have liked to see them, regardless of being spotted out, just pushing the lane, trying to get a tower, but they probably would have lost much more gold by losing creeps.
fight going to break out? 2v2, at least a little bit. Not a full-on fight breakout, but still trading blows back and forth over and over. You can tell Zhao and Jada want to get themselves on the board. They want to make their team able to do something, but Zhao is so incredibly low, and these guys are being pursued now. The fact that Optic was able to hit that level 6 and find the enchanted crystal arrow almost gives him a kill, and almost isn't even required in that sentence. These guys are up to 7-0 here for Rose Hill, as that's going to be corrected immediately. Shinzo grabs the 1v1 against SW, puts his team on the board finally, as Optic Pancakes grabs yet another kill here in the bot lane onto Yahalo. Paul Venus runs in for the drive-by onto Zhao. 9-1 game. 4,000 gold lead, 9 minutes in. Rose Hill is looking like a group of monsters.
He just walked up to him on their tower, grabbed him, threw him around, and just took care of him. Wow. That's so much damage from a Renekton. Like, you see, he's going full damage.
Renekton's going full damage. Volibear didn't even bother to complete his jungle item before he went ahead and picked up the Swiftness boots, holding in some trouble once more. Cold Fire is cold. He unleashes the entire combo, and Rammus isn't even allowed to stay in his lane. Look at the CS count, 30 compared to 59. Renekton looking to double his opponent as Paul Venus unleashes the ultimate. That Thunder Fury, can he find the kill? One more bite's gonna do it, and there it goes. Paul Venus flashes that emote after the fact as Cold Fire is cold. Gonna find Yahalo here in his own jungle. He steals away the red buff. He's found auto attack after auto attack. 2 more will seal Yahalo's fate. He doesn't even need the second, correcting me with his superior damage, and that's going to be yet another kill onto Renekton, as he and Volibear are finding their only competition this game to be the KDA competition between each other.
That's actually kind of true. I think what Paul Venus thought this game is like, hey, I've never tasted robot steak. Let me just buy their mid laner a couple of times.
Things are just looking absolutely disastrous for Lincoln Center. These guys are trying to find any opportunity they can to come back into the game, but you're down a dragon, you're down a turret, you're down 11 kills, and you're down almost 6,000 gold just 10 minutes into this game. That's a massive lead. Lyssandra's trying to get that Rod of Ages up and running, but it's pretty slow going. When you're 1-3 and that's the best score on the team, things are looking pretty bleak. They're going to depend on an overextension now. They're going to depend on their opponents doing something a little bit stupid and capitalizing on it. Now Zhao in some trouble. The arrow comes through, connecting onto Jada. Zhao trying to hop around in this one. SW taken low. Glacial Fissure connects, but not enough to grab him immediately. Paul Venus going to fall. Double kill onto Zhao as SW continues running for his life. End of the line isn't going to do a lot. Winner's Bite comes down. Charm won't connect either. A 2-for-0 goes the way of the Lincoln Center. Just as I'm saying they need their opponents to throw, their opponents obviously hear those prayers.
Yeah, maybe you should say more things such as these. Just say that Rose Hill already got this in the bag, so the game gets closer. I just want to see it drag on.
We just want to see a close game. We just want to see some good League of Legends.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about being a caster. You're not actually playing in the game, so you're not saying, man, we've got to win this one. You just get to enjoy good League of Legends one way or the other. That's what we all want to see here. As Holden 1531 is about to get killed again if he doesn't watch it.
Maybe not.
Pummels himself into Cold Fire is cold. He's going to be stunned up. The power of the Thunderlord's decree, making sure Renekton has the burst to kill him before he's able to enter that defensive ball curl. Now Cold Fire is cold. He's got to wait for those cooldowns to come back up, and he's going to be looking to fight into Shinzo, dashing and flashing himself away. He'll survive to see another day. Still 5-0-1 on this Renekton. He and Ashe, the only 2 remaining people in the game without a death.
That is actually really worth it for our friend here, Cold Fire Skull, because as he used his flash ability, so did Lysandra.
Paul Venus grabs that flip onto Shinzo, going to be able to take him down 100-0 real quick. Cold Fire is cold,
so
dominating.
Much damage. Did you? That was instant. Oh my God, the flash charm.
Flash charm, goodbye Yahalo. Dude doesn't have any prayer to be able to survive this one. Despite the fact these guys made an error in their opponent's jungle early on, they're not looking to make any more. They're looking to build that lead that they've already found themselves. They've already got that 3rd turret, and it's not even an outer turret. They've managed to crack the interior line of turrets before even taking down all of the outers. The outer turret still under pressure here in the top lane, inhibitor turret under pressure in the mid lane, and it's a 7,000 gold game, 13 minutes in. Dragon number 2 going to be live here in about 35 seconds.
If you were the Lincoln team, Lincoln Center, would you try to contest this dragon?
Absolutely not. If you're Lincoln Center, you wait for your opponents to hopefully just do something ridiculously overzealous, ridiculously overconfident, and now SW has found Yahalo trying to walk into his jungle. Who are you looking to take your own buffs? These are ours now. This game, this entire jungle, officially belongs to Rose Hill.
I think that was about sending a message. That was about targeting just someone and just showing them that, hey, this is ours. This is not yours anymore. You just need to let it go.
And let it go, they're going to be forced to. Turret number 4 now under pressure. Optic Pancakes, Cold Fire is Cold, Paul Venus, Lucifer, the entire squad except for SW, who's like, you know, I spent my ult, I spent my charm, I'm just going to split push over here, keep my farm going strong. You guys take the turret, it's not like you need help anyway. 5 men deep, rolling down here into the bot lane now for Lincoln Center, but what can you do? You're so far behind. Honestly, I don't think these guys would win the 5v4.
That's actually true. That's a really smart move by Rose Hill. And even that, they saw them go back to their base. They saw that, hey, they're mispositioned. We can try to take their bottom side since they're on top.
So, we're now staring down the barrel of a game that's 8,000 gold apart, 14 minutes in. In general, I consider the GG threshold for a game, the point where you might as well just, you know, surrender the game because it's 99% chance to be over, to be 10,000 gold at 20. If you're at 8,000 gold 14 and a half minutes into the game, you're on par to be further than 10,000 gold at 20. And Cold Fire is Cold is looking for even more kill potential on to hold 1531, able to find some good damage, dashing in just that slight bit of burst. Using Ruthless Predator with the extra dash and the auto attack, takes off a third of his health. And that's not what you want to see on a Rammus. Ravenous Hydra already fully completed for Cold Fire, all the way invested onto that Glass Cannon Renekton.
I mean, he can switch it up later into the game and switch it for a Titanic Hydra, which is basically another version of the this Hydra, this little axe, but it's just much more, makes you more bulky. Oh, but that's a 5-man.
5 men might be enough to actually take down the god tier Gator. He tries to spin around looking for any sort of a kill he can find, but he won't be able to do it. And tragically, the kill goes over to the support on the side of Lincoln Center. They're finally able to grab themselves a kill, finally able to corral some golden experience. And who grabs the credit? Braum.
Congratulations, Optic Pancakes, my friend. You're the last one without a debt. He's the winner. He's the chosen one.
He absolutely is, and now even more trouble looking to show up here for the Lincoln Center. The charm onto Yahalo. SW is able to find 1 kill as Paul Venus going deep under the turret, looking for another onto Zhao. One more auto attack might be able to do it, but Zhao showing why Kalista is so very powerful against limited mobility champions. Gets himself away. 100 HP is 100 too much in Volibear's eyes. Going to give him his second death. 3 kills now onto Zhao. He's actually positive in terms of KDA and might be the one shining light in the darkness for the Lincoln Center.
Yes, that's something we talked about in Champion Select. Actually, Volibear is kind of limited in the things he can do later into the game because he can be just slowed and he can't reach you. He doesn't have that ability to just jump on you directly. He has to walk up to you, even if he walks up fast. Kalista can just always hop away every time she attacks, which makes it very hard for Volibear to do anything against her.
These guys aren't fazed by it. If you're Rose Hill, you admit, okay, maybe we were a little bit too far forward. Maybe we weren't grouped up and we should have been. Cold Fire is Cold. He's going to be blown up yet again, and Lincoln Center all of a sudden has life breathed back into him. These guys find yet another free pickup as Rose Hill's overconfidence comes back to sting them and bite them again and again and again. These guys know they're ahead. They realize they're as ahead as they are, and that's why they're playing so sloppy. Renekton is so confident, so unworried, so unconcerned with this team coming down from Lincoln Center that he's just going to go out ahead of the rest of his team. They don't need to be coordinated because they're so far ahead, damn it. But now it's not working. Now they're getting picked off, and they're allowing their opponents not only these kills, not only directly the golden experience you get from killing the champion, but the opportunity you buy your team for the 30 seconds they're dead. That's free farm time.
Yeah. Basically, why this is wrong, what's happening that Rose Hill is doing wrong right now is they're just so confident they get greedy and they don't play as smart as they were, which got them really ahead. If they were to just position better around the map and just take it slow, I'm sure they would end this game really fast. But that's not what we want to see. We want to see just savage gameplay.
We want to see tiny cars and big red noses and big floppy shoes and a good old clown fiesta coming out all over the place on Summer's Rift. That's what we live for here at House Party 5v5 Cast, which is where Rammus and I come from, of course, so I'll be dropping some information about that at the end of the stream for anybody who might be interested in more competitive scenes. But right now, we're still here in this competitive scene. We're still here in the Fordham University showdown of the A-side teams as Rose Hill continues to maintain an advantage over Lincoln Center, and it's a sizable advantage, but granted they've lost a little bit of their momentum in the past 2 or 3 minutes. These kinds of mistakes are what they need to keep doing for Lincoln Center to come back. Lincoln Center's not in a place where they're able to say, yeah, guys, if we make this really smart play, we're going to win. It's a little bit past that right now. The gold lead's a little bit too extreme for that. Instead, the train of thought is, we need to make sure we're ready to collapse in a moment's notice, in a split second. If these guys decide to do something stupid, if they overextend, if one of them's by himself, anything, we're ready to punish, because that punish gets them back in the game.
And what's so important about this is not, they don't need to do this once, they don't need to do this twice, but I think at least 3 times will get them entirely back into the game. Or if they can do it, like, just hold the game and farm those little monsters that attack the towers, which are called creeps. If you can just kill them over and over and over, it gives you gold, which lets you buy items, which makes you strong, of course. And if they can hold on and just do this, they're gonna be as strong as Rose Hill, even if they don't have as many kills. Kills only give you golden experience, which you can get at other places.
We're starting to see some items get completed onto the side of Lincoln Center as well. Claw going to be thrown out from Shinzo, not really going to accomplish a lot with it. And if you're Optic Pancakes, you got to be careful. Like we talked about earlier, this guy doesn't have a lot of tools to get himself away if the fight breaks out the wrong way. Paul Venus under the turret going to be tanking up a whole lot of damage, but how long can he survive? Lucy Fur going to be the first one dead. Xiao looking for more. Double kill over on Yahalo before he drops. It's a 2 for 3 going the way of Lincoln Center, and they're looking for SW. The charm lands. Here comes the orb. It's a double kill for SW now as Cold Fire is cold, looking for the kill onto Xiao. He's hopping, he's throwing, he's piercing as much as he can, but he's going to be stunned up. The kill comes through. Shutdown for Cold Fire is cold. SW and this Renekton are doing what they need to do. The power of Fed solo lanes cannot be underestimated.
Yeah. Honestly, Lincoln had this in the bag for a second when they just got 3 kills for 2, which is a good trade for them. And they should have just stopped fighting over at this point. But they thought, oh hey, Holden has teleport. We can maybe just keep on chasing with Braum. He can slow them, and then Holden teleports in, and we can go back in. But this mistake, not these mistakes.
It's actually a mistake that you see that's really common in solo queue especially. A team that's behind gets a fight win off the back of their opponents doing something greedy or silly, we'll call it. And then what they do is after they win the fight 3 for 2, they chase. And chasing is almost never going to be successful when you're already that far behind to begin with. Shinzo's going to be thrown back, the CC comes down, and Cold Fire is cold bursts him before anything else can even happen. Yahalo might have Sterix, and it might even be able to get him away, but it won't be for long. Paul Venus finds yet another kill under the turret. He doesn't even care about the aggro. That is one tanky volley bear. Double kill goes his way. 4 dead on the side of Lincoln Center as the last man standing is an AD carry with no front line to protect him. Cold Fire here under the turret. Xiao's going to take him down, make a nice pair of boots. Optic Pancakes has to get back. Runan's Hurricane completed on Xiao. With the right positioning and ability to dodge, he might be able to take down all 4, but it looks like he's not going to go for it. Charm lands. Xiao's able to find one. Flashing away, trying to keep himself alive, won't do so. Shutdown goes over to Lou, and that's going to be a late ace coming down for Rose Hill.
Now this is an actually really important pickup. You might think, oh hey, they got a shutdown on their mid laner, this is really good. However, if you think about it, Callista, which is Zhao at this point, he was their prime source of damage in these fights. So right now they don't have the ability to really hold a fight. They don't have the ability to hold a tower. It was Cold Fire's Cold is back. If they can just walk up really fast to tower, they could have done something. Or maybe before Cold Fire is back, they could have just done something, because when Callista's gone, that's all you need to know, they can't hold the tower.
And now we're seeing a game that's about 9,000 gold apart, 23 minutes in. A substantial lead still being present for Rose Hill, but the silver lining on the dark cloud, if you're Lincoln Center, is the fact that your inhibitor turrets are all still standing. You've still got that line. You've still got that problem that a lot of teams have a difficulty solving, where once you've pushed down everything else on the map and you have to either take Baron or break the enemy inhibitor turret line, you kind of get stuck, because it does require a very large lead to successfully dive an inhibitor turret without any other lanes already being pressured by super minions. It also requires a large lead to be able to just muscle your way into Baron and force your opponents to answer it without that going potentially south very quickly. And that's the thing, is does this team from Rose Hill feel confident with the lead they currently have? Do they feel like they can force a play to happen? Because they can't just allow this game to stagnate. They can't just allow Zhao time to farm up more, because he's proved that if he gets the opportunity, he might still be able to bring this game back.
Yeah, and as we said, Rammus's strength just finds up with time. But right now, we're going to see Rose Hill just attempting that Baron you talked about. However, Lincoln knows about this. So they're going to try maybe to steal it. They can't fight it, but if they can get a steal.
Lincoln knows about it, but what can they do to stop it? Blue team has slain Baron Nashor. Paul Venus with the secure on that one. And now with Baron and Chance circling around, these guys are ready to make their inhibitor push.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know and you're kind of new to the game, what Baron buffs does, Baron is the big creature that just slayed, the big purple monster. Basically, it makes these little creeps, these little fighters, really tougher and stronger. They deal more damage, they're just better. So basically, you're going to be attacking the tower and deal a lot more damage. And a big thing of this buff is the cannon can attack out of the range of the tower. Always just dealing a little bit of damage, a little bit of chip damage, always.
Pot shot after pot shot. They're going to be looking to wear that one down as Optic Pancakes wants to get in there, find a little bit of pain onto that turret as well. So very low, so very close to falling, and Paul Venus is tired of waiting. Shinzo's going to be thrown back, juggled around by the tornado, trying to flash himself away, going to drop the ultimate, will not be enough. He's the first casualty as Cold Fire is cold here in the middle of everybody. Holden's the next one to drop. Jada's going to be saved by Zhao, but for how long? Paul Venus going to be looking to dive through two turrets. Jada's still alive. Not any longer. Optic Pancakes goes with a killing spree on that one. Yahalo trying to run himself away. He and Zhao still alive. Make that Zhao alone. Make that nobody alone. Double kill goes over to the 80 carry. Optic Pancakes 8, 1, and 9 on this Ashe. Triple kill to finish off the fight. Triple kill to finish off the game. And ladies and gentlemen, Rose Hill takes down Lincoln Center 26 minutes in.
Yeah, this was a really interesting game right now. We saw the steamroll, the wait. We're not really winning right now. What's happening? And they just come back really strong and end the game. That was a really interesting game.
Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in about 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to have one more game scheduled for you. It's still more Fordham University, it's still Rose Hill, and it's still Lincoln Center, but it's going to be the B-side teams instead of the A-side. So stick around. We'll be right back with more League of Legends action. We'll see you in a moment.